Hi there, I'm going to teach you how to post a project on JustServe. If you have an account, then you'll come up here to your name. If you don't, this area will also allow you to create a JustServe.org account. Once that's done, you click on your name, you'll come up to the tab that says My Dashboard. From here, this is where you're going to be able to manage your JustServe project, create a project here, which is where we're going to go, or if you need to make any edits, find out QR codes to your project, links, find out volunteer information. This is the area that you'll come back to. But today we're going to create a project. So we're going to hit that tab. And the first thing it will have you do is read through the JustServe community guidelines and make sure that your post meets those guidelines. And if it does, you'll click the button and hit the continue button. The next page that you'll get to is the name type page. This is where you're going to put in a project title that you want to be very short, and let me tell you what I mean by that. You'll see that you're going to have a preview area on the main page of JustServe, and also when you get into looking for projects, that will show you a little bit of information about your project. And if your title is too long, it's going to not show the whole title. If your short description is too long, again, it won't show the whole description. So that's why you really want to keep titles short and short descriptions, just with enough information that you'll know what it's about, but it's not going to go over the page. So when we go back to this area, you'll do your short title. Your personal information will be able to show up here because you're the submitter of the project. And then you get to choose if this is a local project or a region project. A region project is something you only do if the project you're posting is outside a small area. So maybe you have a project that you want the whole state to see, whole county. But if it's just something that's localized in your community, then local projects should be sufficient for most of the things that you do. The next thing you'll have to take note of is selecting when your project will take place. You can't go back and change this, so you want to make sure that you pick the correct frequency. So is it a project that's only happening on one day? Do you have multiple days and times, perhaps Tuesdays at 1 and Thursdays at 3? Or is it an ongoing project where it might be going from September through November, any day of the week, perhaps an item donation or something like that, that you won't have specific dates you will need? Or is it a reoccurring project? Perhaps it's on every Tuesday at 10 a.m. that you need volunteers to come and sign up. So those are your options. Select the one that works best for you right in the beginning. Otherwise, you would have to create a new project if you wanted the frequency to change later on. Now, the next part will be how will participants sign up? The JustServe sign up will collect volunteer information for you. They can sign up through JustServe, and then you can go back and see that volunteer information. Or if you already have a link for a sign up or a volunteer website that you want to redirect users to, you would click this option and let them go to another website. You also can choose whether a project is public or private. Public is going to be that anyone who goes to justserve.org will see it. Private would be a situation where maybe you just want this link to only be sent to students in your class, or maybe you just want a certain group at work to receive this project. That's where you'd click private. You would have a link, but only people that receive that link from you would be able to access this project. So I'm going to go to a post that's already created to show you how I filled in that information. So this is a event to welcome back teachers to volunteer to help make some snack bags. We chose that it was we'll come back to this area, a single day project. And because they had a sign up, we put in the sign up link here. And of course we made it public because we want anyone, students or community members, to be able to volunteer for this project. So when we go to the next page, this is where you will put the location of your project. So we have the address of the location of where the project will take place. And then you also can put in a few more details. So we put in the specific room at this specific building that this is taking place to make it even a little bit more clear. This could even be as clear as go into the back door that has the sign that says welcome on out. So once we've finished that, we're going to go to the next section. The next tab that you'll fill out is when your project will be taking place. So depending on the frequency that you chose earlier on will depend on what the options look like for you here. Since this is a one-day project, we're just putting in the date, the start time and end time, and then you can or cannot put in this extra volunteer responsibilities area. I'll show you on this project where that will show up. So the volunteer responsibilities is sort of like another short synopsis at the very top of a project that they will see. So again, that's optional, but if you want to have just a really quick way of showing what the project is about below, you can put in the volunteer responsibilities there. And then of course you always want to have a contact for someone that they might be able to connect with when they're going to be arriving at the event in case they have any questions. So once that section's done, we'll go on to the details section. So in this area, you're going to have a short synopsis and a full description. The short synopsis is going to show up on the preview post of JustServe. So let me go back and show you where that will be. That's going to be this little small area that people will see. So it's going to give them a little bit of a preview of your project, and it will let you or let the volunteer know if it's something they're interested in learning more about and maybe want to volunteer for. So you want to keep that short so it stays on your preview and give as much detail as you can. And just as a note, this short description, if it's important to repeat in here, you only see it on the preview. You don't see it in the actual project post details, which is this information that will show up when they click into your project. So if you want that to be repeated, repeat it again in the full description, just as a little note for you. So then in the full description, you're going to put all the information that you want. Any questions that a volunteer might have, you want to be able to put in this full description. And then you can click project attributes. So this is a project that students and community members can volunteer for. So we're going to say that it's suitable for all ages. A group could come and volunteer. It's wheelchair accessible and indoors. If you had item donations, that's another area that you can click. Then you can also put skills. And I only put skills in this area if it's really something that's necessary for a volunteer to have, because when they sign up for your project, they will click a button that says that they have that particular skill. So if it's something that's not totally necessary, like you have to have an accounting skill to serve, then I recommend not doing skills, only if it's something that has to be available for someone to engage in your project. Kind of the more flexible area is putting the areas of interest for people. So the areas we've selected are children and youth because we're working with a school district. Community members can help, and education and literacy because we're dealing with students in school. And you can click up to 5 areas of interest and 5 skills. So the next section is going to be your attachments. This is where you put a project photo. Since we didn't have a project photo from the event, or one if it occurred last year, this is a good spot for you to maybe put a project photo from a previous year's event to display what volunteers will be doing. You can make your own image. Canva.com is a great place to do that. That's where I did this image. You will describe the image here in this section. And if you had any attachments that you wanted, maybe it was a specific flyer for your event, this is where you could add that and then go to the next section. Now this section for organization is where you will link your project to an existing organization on JustServe if they have one. We're going to go to justserve.org so I can show you what I mean. So when you go to Volunteer Now, you're going to be able to view JustServe projects or view JustServe organizations. Organizations are put on by JustServe specialists so that when people come to JustServe, they can, even if there's not active projects, they can look and find out about the organizations that have used JustServe. And they will see if there's any active projects at the time. That in red, it will tell you how many active projects are under these organizations. So the benefit of an organization page is if you have 4 projects, for example, Advocates Against Family Violence has 4 projects and available now for people to volunteer. Instead of sending an individual 4 different URL links about volunteer opportunities to people, they could just grab their JustServe organization URL page, and it would be a URL that's not as long because project URLs are a lot longer than this, and it just has all their projects in one place for them to easily share out with potential volunteers. So that's the benefit of that. Not every project will have an organization page, but if you do, this is where you're going to say, add this project to an existing organization. And so we are linking this project to the West Ada School District. I click that I have authorization to post it, and then we can continue on to the next page. But if you don't have an organization to post to, that's okay. You can click the link that says that you don't need to link it for now. Now, the last section of a project post will be the review section. This will let you see what it will look like when a volunteer clicks on that preview and wants to learn more. So you'll see we have our title, who the organization we link to is, if they want to find out more information about the organization in charge of this project post. You have your address that we entered, the volunteer responsibilities, time, date, date and time. And then you have that full description that we put in here that gives you all the information that you need to know, along with the map and the address, that information that we put about the specific room and area at the address, and those attributes that we clicked: group project, wheelchair accessible, indoors, and suitable for all ages. So if anyone were to specifically search JustServe for any of these areas, your project would come up. As well as if somebody searched interests, if they wanted to only find projects to volunteer for that had to do with children and youth as well, that would allow your project to be seen under those type of search results. So if you are happy with the preview of your project, you can go ahead and post it to the website. If you want to make any edits, you're just going to click back to where you want to go and be able to make any edits at that time. So once we are ready to post it, we click that post to website button. And this is where you can share your project on social media. You can download a QR code if you want to put it on a flyer that you're making about your volunteer opportunity and want people to have that direct link to JustServe. You can also copy the URL link and be able to share that out with those that you want to share the volunteer opportunity with. So those are your options. I always recommend that you click the URL link and go and look at your project and just check for spelling errors, check for any details that might be missing. And if you do find something that you need to update, this is where, again, you'll go back to your name, back to this My Dashboard area that will take you here, and you can come and manage your projects, those active project areas, or you can click this Go Back to My Projects button directly, and it will, again, take you to this area, and that's where you can go make any edits to your project if needed. But if it's good to go, everything looks great, then you'll find that your project will come back up. I'm going to go back. So on the homepage of JustServe, your project, when you post it, it will come up into the newest areas. And when your project is upcoming, you're going to see it in the upcoming area as well. So if it's in the next few days or week, this is the area that you would see it. In our project, since I posted it it is in the newest section, but if it was a brand new project, it would be here up front. But I do know it's upcoming in the next week. So if we kind of click over in this area, it shows a few selections of that, and you'll see that our Welcome Back Teachers project is there on the soonest area as well for volunteers looking for something upcoming. That's how you post a project on justserve.org. If you need any help or support, if you don't already have a JustServe specialist that you're working with, you can go up to the About Us page to contact us and fill out a form that will connect you to your local JustServe specialist if you need any help or support.